All right, guys, welcome back to Relegation Battle. We've got a European special episode, if you want to call it that. We won't go for every game, but I think some games just have to go into a bit more depth into. I think the best place to start is Tuesday night at the Camp Nou. PSG have beaten Barcelona 4-1, Mbappe getting a hat-trick, of course. Before we go into PSG, Jack, I'll come to you. Barca, we knew were defensively a bit frail. We knew they were slow at the back, and it's just not the best defense. Why do you think Koeman chose such a high line against such a fast attack?
I literally had no clue. The only thing I can think of is because they're Barcelona, they don't want to just play such a low line, sit back. They're Barcelona, so they want to try and get at PSG. But you've also got to think about the opposition threat, and playing such a high line was just so stupid. Every time PSG had the ball, they got in behind time and time again, and he didn't change it still. But yeah, I think it was very stupid of him.
Yeah, Ty, Mbappe. We knew without Neymar, we knew he was going to be the biggest threat there. The first goal was quality. Second one, try to remember it. I think it was the rebound tapping. Well, not tapping, but
Yeah.
But then the third one was, I think, was a great finish first time. How good was he on that night?
Unplayable. I mean, he even outshined Messi. But Mbappe, he's just one of them players where obviously not everyone, like a lot of people have just called him. Some people have called him overrated because he plays in the French league. Some people have said he's just a pace merchant. But I think on Tuesday he proved that like he's more than that, and he can do it without Neymar. Like he's gone to the Camp Nou, and I think I saw something like he's the first player to score a hat trick there since like 1999 or something like that. It was crazy. But yeah, man, like even like I'm not taking a dig at Rashford, but some Man United fans have compared Mbappe and Rashford, and to be honest, you can't really do that. Like Mbappe's just on another level. Like he showed it at the World Cup, and he showed it. He hasn't like been massively consistent in the big games in the Champions League, but obviously he showed on Tuesday that he can do it. So, I think he's going to be the next one after Messi and Ronaldo, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, even though he is so good, I think it's still unfair to expect him to be consistent every game against the big teams because he is still so young.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom, do you think the game's done? Obviously, Neymar, I still don't know if I don't think he'll come back with second leg, but is there anything Barca can do to turn this around?
I mean, we've seen it before, especially with these two. You do get a lot of upset. It's just the fact that Barcelona ain't the same anymore. So putting confidence in them doing it, I was actually quite confident that PSG would have Neymar back because if this was as close as I thought it was going to be, because I don't think any of us thought PSG were going to blow him away like this. I thought they were going to rush him back, but now they're 4-1 up. I don't think they will. But you never know. If Neymar definitely does come back, that I can't see them because I think they'll beat him again. But I still think to be honest, I still think they beat him again anyway. Because like Jack said, they're not going to change. Me and Joe were talking about it not that long ago when we were talking about Real Sociedad, but it's literally the same for most Spanish teams. Very rare that you're going to see a Spanish team that don't want to play out back. It's just the Spanish way. It's the way they've been brought up. It's the way the Spanish love to play football. It's very rare. Like you might see both Atleticos like Bilbao and Madrid that sit back. It's very rare you'll see a Spanish side, especially Barcelona, sit back. It just will not happen. It's like it's their DNA, which is fair enough, but they haven't got the players right now to do that because they're involved in a long-term rebuild. So if I was, I would say the tie. I'd expect it is over because I expect PSG to probably win again. But even if they do lose, not lose like Barca did, so it'd be enough to get them through. Especially since this 4 away goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 4 away goals. That's massive. Because even if Barca did blow them away 3-0, which is a big result, it's still not enough.
Yeah.
So and I just don't think, as much as I don't think PSG are great at the back as well, because I think they're quite evenly balanced. It was just Mbappe was made to play against Barcelona because it just suits him. I just feel like even if Barca did get at PSG's weakness, which is their defence again, I can't see Barcelona stopping PSG from getting at their weakness once again. So yeah, I think that tie is over. I think PSG do go through 100%.
Yeah,
But you never know.
I think it was a bit similar in a sense to the Bayern Barca game last season because in the first half, Barca had chances to score. We saw Griezmann go 1-on-1 with the keeper miss. Dembele had almost like a Messi just laid it off to him and he just hit it straight to keeper. And then I think it might have been late in the first or early in the second half where Griezmann was put through by Messi again. It wasn't an easy 1-on-1. He started to take on a lot of defenders, but it was almost like a clear run. I think he put that wide as well. And then Keylor Navas had a mistake in the second half, but Carney put that on Barca. But it's the same thing of not being clinical again, I think, for them. And, there's a lot of youngsters in the attack, apart from like Griezmann and Messi, I guess. But I guess you still would expect someone of Griezmann's quality, experience to put these chances away in the bigger games. But definitely an interesting one. Before we go to our other game on Tuesday, which is the Liverpool one, let's go to Sevilla vs Dortmund quickly. The other young player in Europe who's continuing to do a good rate is Erling Haaland. Jack, 3-2 Dortmund. Obviously, it's a lot tighter in that game, but it was again 3 away goals for Dortmund this time. You guys are wanting with Sancho, so I'll talk to you about him. It was a great assist for their second goal from him. Do you think now, obviously the first part of the season wasn't great for him, but since the turn of the year has been a lot better, do you still want to see him at United?
100%. I mean, I think even their CEO, or I'm not sure who it was, director said the transfer talk kind of held him back a little bit, but he probably had a talk with like the CEO there, and Jamin just said, look, you're probably going to go at the end of the season. Just from here till the end of the season, just put your head down, work hard, and we'll get you the move. And ever since then, he's been fantastic. Goals and assists, loads of games. I mean, I still want to see him at United next season.
Yeah, then Kai, obviously, Haaland, still in United, but a bit more Chelsea as well. Here's my question for you, because this is what I was thinking when I watched him play. Haaland's someone who does well on the counter. He will run at you with the ball. But with Chelsea's under Tuchel, you guys got to dominate possession, right? You want the ball, you're going to move around quickly. For me, that means other teams will just sit back against you. Do you think Haaland would thrive in that right now in his career? Because obviously he's not the complete forward yet. He's still out for 2021. Do you think he'll be as good if, say, I don't know, there's 7-8 people defending in the box and he's almost crowded out rather than him running at teams like we saw?
Yeah, I think so. Because even if you look at us at the moment, we still create chances for players like Abraham and Giroud and stuff, and they just can't finish. Like if you saw when Tammy Abraham got injured on Monday, I can't remember who played him through, but he was basically through on goal. He had a bad touch and then obviously got taken out. But so I think if that's Haaland in that situation, it's a definite goal. And sometimes I think we will play under Tuchel, we will play counter-attacking football when we need to. So if we're playing against a Man City or a Bayern Munich or something, we'll definitely just sit back and counter. So I reckon we would, and I reckon we could create more chances than Dortmund would, if you know what I mean, because with the players we've got. But so yeah, I don't think he'll come to Chelsea anyway. To be honest, I'm just hopeful, and I reckon he'll go to a Real Madrid or something. But yeah, hopefully we can sign him, and yeah, because we need a striker like that, and I reckon him and Werner could play together the way Tuchel's been speaking about Werner's position.
Yeah, Tom, if you are Haaland and Mbappe, these two are just tearing up Europe right now and their respective leagues. Do you stay at PSG and Dortmund? Do you look for a move as quick as possible to make a bigger team? What do you think they're thinking about?
Well, I think the Mbappe situation is more complicated than the Haaland, in my opinion, because look, Dortmund are known as much as Dortmund are like my second team. Like I love watching Dortmund. I've been a big fan of Royce, and I've always been gutted that Royce thing. I'd love Royce to obviously play for my team, but that wouldn't happen. But I'd love him to go to Real Madrid or something like that. I think he was probably destined for that, but it was just the injuries just really messed him up. But Haaland, yeah, I think he's more likely to leave next summer than Mbappe would, especially since the finances side are more easier than the Mbappe, because you're talking a fee this Mbappe one could be higher than Neymar, where it could equal, maybe just be a bit low, but even if it's a bit lower, that's ridiculous money. Haaland will be a good amount of money. It'll probably be around 100 million, something like that, around that mark.
The league calls 70, which doesn't come until 2022.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I don't think he goes this summer.
Yeah, that is true, but I don't know. I expect Haaland will go to Real Madrid. The only Premier League team I can see Haaland going to, and that makes sense for Haaland and the club, is Manchester City. That is the only team I think makes sense for Haaland. I don't think Man United will go in for him, because that's not necessarily what. I mean, they do need it for long term wise, but I just think Man United cannot do Sancho and Haaland. They just will not be able to, and I just think they're so set on Sancho that they could miss out on Haaland. But you never know; they might change their mind. Could Haaland go there? I don't know. He did have the opportunity already, so surely he would have went already. I don't know what happened in that situation. With Mbappe, like I said, the finances are hard. I expect him to go to only one team and one team only, though, and that is Real Madrid. I think they're the only team that will buy him. The only other team I would have said previously in previous years was Barcelona, but I think we've learned over the recent years they are really struggling financially compared to PSG and Real Madrid. I don't think the only other team I think could be able to afford him in England, maybe Man United or Man City, but I just think it's just way too much money. I honestly think the only place for Mbappe is either staying at PSG, which I don't want, because that league you just want him in even though I don't really think La Liga's as great anyway. I think the Prem is where everyone seems to want to go now. It's just so hard when you're that good. Even if you did want to go, you just can't lower your wage because you're just not going to, are you? And the clubs ain't going to take that risk, because as much as he's a good player, it is a ridiculous amount of money. So I just think Real Madrid are the only team that will do it. And if not, I think he just stays at PSG, honestly.
Yeah. I think Real Madrid might be struggling a bit with finance as well, more on the wage side of things, which is why I don't want to let go of players like Isco and a couple others in the summer. But yeah, I think the only way Mbappe might want to stay at PSG long term is not long term even, but if they somehow manage to just get Messi, because that will keep Neymar there for a bit of time as well. I think Mbappe would like that situation, so we'll see how that develops as well. There wasn't a question I was going to ask, but I forgot now. So let's go on to the Liverpool game. We won't go into too much, but obviously they went on a good run before the Leipzig game, but that was a great performance from Liverpool. They didn't really look too nervy at the back, which is what we expected, I think, after the last couple of games. Do you think, I mean, obviously 2-0, I think it is 2 away goals as well. So that's obviously big for them. Do you think now they just look at the Champions League a bit more than the Premier League?
Yeah, probably, because obviously Klopp's already said that the title race is done, so they're probably just going to focus more on the Champions League now. But do I think they're going to win it? No, just because there's better teams now, and it's not like they don't have Van Dijk or anyone, so it's not like he's going to be able to just lead them to the Champions League. But they'll probably focus more on it, but I don't think they'll win it, especially because if their league form continues, the only way they can get into the Champions League next year is by winning it, if it stays how it is. But yeah, they played well. Salah and Mane looked back to it. Kabak actually looked all right. I mean, Upamecano, he didn't have a good game, but obviously he is still young, so you do have to kind of just be a bit, he's going to have them kind of games, even though he has just gone to or agreed to move to Bayern. But
It's
So
done.
yeah, is it done? Yeah.
Yeah, it's done.
So I don't, Leipzig weren't terrible. It's just Liverpool's quality just showed at the end of the day. Like Leipzig are a young team, and they played with. And I don't think they played with a striker really. I think they had Danny Olmo up front from what I saw. But so yeah, but it was interesting to see Nagelsmann's tactics and all that, because obviously I haven't watched a lot of Leipzig, but yeah, they weren't bad. It was just Liverpool were clinical, really.
Yeah, I think they almost forced into mistakes rather than. Obviously, there were a couple poor passes, especially from Upamecano, but the Liverpool press is probably something different to what they normally face in the Bundesliga. You know, even though the Bundesliga isn't as good as the Prem, they still do have the best defensive record in the league as well. So I think it's just credit to Liverpool for the way they played and almost surprised everyone because obviously of the poor form. And in the other game, Jack, Porto beat Juve 2-1. It was a weird game because Porto didn't have to do much in the sense of attacking because they got two early goals, one in the first, one in the second half. So that just almost allowed them to defend as a team, which they did really well. Juventus got one back. Should have had a penalty, I think, in the last second of the game, but wasn't given. You can never count Ronaldo out there, can you?
Never. I mean, I didn't watch it too much, but I mean, seeing stuff, I don't think he was that great. But like, go back to, I'm not quite sure if it was last season or the season before when they were 2-0 down to Atletico and he comes back and scores a hat-trick to put them through. I mean, the guy's crazy still at 34, so you can never count him out. But like you said, Porto didn't really have to do much, especially the second goal. I can't remember which one it was, but it was just Juventus mistakes, and they didn't really have to do much. Like you said, they just, once they scored that second goal in the second half, they just defended, and Juventus got a goal back, which made the tie more interesting in that second leg, and probably should have had a penalty last minute, but obviously can't just complain about that when they probably should. Realistically, looking at teams on paper, they should quite comfortably beat Porto, but it doesn't work like that. But yeah, you can never count Ronaldo out in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think Chiellini went off injured as well, so if Bonucci plays, that isn't a problem for Juve because he has not been good this season. Probably won't help the league either. But we're going to Europa League now, the better competition, if you ask me. Tom?
Yeah, same.
Good win for you guys over Wolfsberger. Bale starting as well, which I'm sure you'll be happy about. You guys are pretty much comfortable now in the second leg as well with a good lead. What do you think of the game?
Well, you don't want to really get too much ahead of yourself, do you? But we expected. I saw a Tottenham fan on one of these other shows say, I don't really care. I mean, it's got that low recently that they're like, I don't really care, I wanted to win. I'm a bit different with that because as much as we ain't been on a good run, I mean, obviously you take a 1-0 win, but I think we should have been running through them like we did. And I would have been disappointed if we didn't. We only went 1-0 because it was a good draw for us. They're not a great team compared to the other teams in there. I think the manager got it spot on with the selection. I think the biggest selection thing he did right was he gave Højbjerg a rest. That guy's played like 33 games already and he's just looking tired. I mean, he's been absolutely brilliant with us, but he's made a couple of mistakes. Even though he's played well in them games, they would just been mistakes. He just needs a rest. I can't believe how many games he's actually played. And he needs to trust, even though I don't trust Winks, but against Wolfsberger, I guess you can. And he mixed it up a lot. I was happy to see Dele in there. He had a brilliant game. Back to his best, nutmegging people. He nearly got a brilliant solo goal where he nutmegged it for a defender. So close to scoring. Bale actually looked better. He looked like he actually had the confidence to take on players. His goal was a very good goal. But that's what I mean. With Bale, I don't know whether he's still got all the technical ability. That's what I'd like to play him through central, but it's so hard to play him through central. But then I feel a lot of the criticism he gets is harsh because, all right, he has been great when he has started, but you got to remember before he came to us, he didn't play at all at Real Madrid in his last season or coming towards us. He's getting to that age. He needs a real run of games in the intensity of Premier League. You can't just expect him to say, right, you got one game, show us what you've got, because his confidence is going to be so low as it is. And it's just it's the intensity of the Premier League is so different. But technically, he's still got it. I just don't know whether he will get an opportunity. One thing I did see after the game is Mourinho said, because I was quite surprised he took him off in like the 60th minute, and he said he done that because of the weekend. And I'm now starting to wonder whether he maybe might start Bale, because normally he wouldn't say that. I mean, he's going to be on the bench anyway. I feel like he would have played more, or he wouldn't have even come out with that. But because he came out with that, I feel like he actually might be starting. So it'll be interesting to see that against West Ham. But I thought it was an easy, good game, good team selection. And we should be able to put out a weak side for the next leg and comfortably get through, which makes it easier for us.
Yeah, I think definitely a good away win as well. I think it was a nice celebration as well from Son and Bale when they did their W one. I think it was for a cancer patient who asked them to do that. So that was really nice of them. Jack, great win for you guys against Real Sociedad away from home as well. Well, yeah. It was a weird start. Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire, if I'm correct. It was a weird one. It was a bit end-to-end in the first minute alone. But you guys, after the first goal, I think it was a bit more comfortable for you guys. How was it? How do you think it went?
Yeah, I mean, like the first couple of minutes, they had two chances. We had a chance to score. I mean, ours was probably more, would you say, easier to score, and Rashford didn't score. But yeah, with the first minute, Bailly's misplaced pass, and then their pass to Isaac through the middle of the two centre backs. But after that, I thought we were fairly comfortable. Like you said, they had when we scored the first goal, we were probably in control. But even before that, I didn't feel like they were going to score. I know, again, that Isaac shot in the first minute and Januzaj whipped shot past the post. But other than that, like Tom was saying earlier, I mean, him spoke, they just had loads of possession. They kept passing it between their centre backs, goalkeeper. They looked so comfortable, to be fair to them, but they didn't do anything with it. They hardly got in behind. I mean, and then fair play to, I don't really rate him that much, but Daniel James had a very good game. I actually give credit to Ollie here, because Daniel James hasn't played much at all recently, but he puts him into this game, obviously, because we need to change it up. But he exploited the space so much. There's so much space in behind. And him and Rashford, I mean, Rashford should have had a hat-trick. He missed a very easy one-on-one. And then in that first minute I was talking about, he should have scored that one as well. But 4-0, 4 away goals, should be through to the next round.
Yeah, are you happy, do you think, to play a weaker side next week then?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I wouldn't go, I'd go weaker than the team we put out, which was it was strong, but still fairly weak. But I wouldn't go, take Bruno out, take Rashford out, take Maguire out, and bring in Mata. If Van der Beek's back, bring him in. Amad Diallo, start him. Matic, Twanzebe, bring him in. And just, play a much weaker side. But they still got quality players, Real Sociedad. So we do have to be careful. We can't play just 18-year-olds all over the pitch. But we can play a much weaker team, yeah.
Yeah. Then, of course, we talk about Arsenal as well. Wasn't a great result for us. Again, not the worst. 1-1 to Benfica.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
We should have just done better, to be honest. I think Aubameyang, fair play team, came out and said he should have done better. I mean, that's what we can really ask at the end of the day. Just play and accept that they should have scored. But yeah, the tapping was dreadful. Then he had another chance in the first half as well. I think Odegaard or Ceballos might have played him in, and it was another one-on-one, but he's put it wide again. The penalty incident, I don't know about. It's a weird one because he's a bit close. If his hand's not there, it's hitting his head anyway, I think. But at the same time, he didn't really even debate it. I think he was happy, you know what, it's hit my hand.
Yeah,
but
I think that was just about handball, in my opinion.
But at the same time, we can't put the game on that because we just weren't clinical enough. They were playing that 5-back high line, which was a bit weird, but I guess it worked out in the end for him. But we got so many chances from that. We're just too slow from the back. You know, David Luiz taking We want him to take 1-2 touches, not 5 to 6 touches, before he plays a pass. And I think Odegaard was great again when he's on the ball, but again, it was just it took us way too long to get him the ball. And after we just had to force it out wide to him because when he was in the middle, we didn't get quick enough. So then he just got closed down and then we had to force him to come a bit wider. But yeah, it was a good goal. I mean, he made a good pass to Cedric to get the goal to force Saka. Again, he keeps saving us. But, this means now we're going to have to go strong again in the second leg. Even though to get the away goal, you just never know because 1-0 wins enough for him. They do have to score now, but we've got City on the weekend, which means we can't really go weak for that, because if you go weak for that, they're going to put 6-7 past us because that's how they're playing right now with De Bruyne, Aguero back. And Gundogan's back for the game as well because he missed the Everton one. So it's a good result in terms of we're not technically losing because a 0-0 means we go through, but at the same time, I think with our defense, you're never really sure that we can keep a clean sheet. So not the best result, but again, I think similar to Leeds, Odegaard and Ceballos were just the better players for me. They linked up really well. Ceballos is a weird one because, like I said, he hasn't featured much this season, but last 2 games, he's almost been faultless, really, because his defending wasn't too bad either, but just a matter of how long he can keep it up for because defensively he's not the best, but his passing's been fantastic. I knew he was moving quick. Xhaka was on moving slow, which was a bit of a change, but yeah, I think next week's a big game for us now. We have to get the win. And then Rangers had another interesting game, 4-3 win. Just penalties all over the place, really. I think a late one for Antwerp at the end of the first half, then Rangers at the end of the second to win it. Tom, how far do you think Rangers can go in this competition? Because the league is pretty much done for them. They're quite far ahead of Celtic. Do you think they can really just go for it this now?
Yes, I do, because the league's done. Like, they are so far ahead. I've never seen a league like it, and like even Celtic can even say fair play because Celtic, that's sort of a thing. If you say that happens in the Scottish League, you think, oh, Celtic are doing that, and it's Rangers for a change. Yeah, so you've got to respect their rebuild because they had to do a massive rebuild after getting relegated a couple of years back. Can they win the Europa League? No. There is too many strong teams. I'm debating whether my team can win it, let alone Rangers. I think Man United are just going to, if they came up against us or especially a Man United, it would just be too strong for them. I knew that would be a good game because Antwerp were in our group and they actually beat us in one of the games, and they did. I wouldn't say they were great attacking wise, but they were quite a well-structured team, didn't make too many mistakes. So I knew that'd be a good game. Obviously, the red card puts them at a little bit of a disadvantage. I do think Rangers will get past that, but I can't see them getting anywhere near like the semi-finals or the final. But just being in the competition, getting more money, helping them rebuild over the years, like I don't remember where they came last year in the Europa League. All I know is they got knocked out by Leverkusen. Yeah. I don't know if that was the first round, but like I said, they're building. If they can keep improving, you never know. But I just can't see them ever going to win or even get to the final of this sort of competition because it's hard for them to attract players to come to the Scottish League. No player who's quite good. That's why you see like fairly good young prospects that haven't done well in the big clubs, like Ryan Kent, for example. He's a prospect, but Liverpool had a lot of prospects, and he basically was the one that was told, right, there ain't a space for you, so he had to make do with what he could. That's the type of player that goes to the Scottish League where they just get let go. I can't see them getting any big or good quality players to really take them that next level just because of the league they're in. But just by them representing, I think they'll be happy with that because they ain't an easy team to play against. And even if, to be honest, if in the next draw and if they did go through, I don't think I would really want to play Rangers because I think they'd be so up for it against a Tottenham and Man United just because English don't really like us, which is fair enough. And it's almost like it'd be a derby if Man United played Rangers or if we played Rangers or Arsenal or Leicester. So I would rather avoid them, but I can't see them being strong enough to knock any of us out or to win it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think if they played us attacking, I think they'll cause all of our defensive problems because they're a high scoring team. We've seen that already.
Yeah, but the defense.
Yeah, defense, I think maybe if they overcommit, a team like Tottenham, United with the pace you guys got, can definitely cause some problems. So elsewhere in Europa League, obviously there's a lot of games. Go through the bigger teams who won it. Roma won 2-0 in their first game away as well. AC Milan drew 2-2 with Red Star Belgrade, who also went out of 10 men, so could be an upset there. Olympiacos won 4-2 against PSV. Obviously, Leicester drew 0-0 with Slavia Prague. Leverkusen Young Boys was an interesting game. So Young Boys went 3-0 up in the first half. Leverkusen brought it back to 3-3 quite early in the second, but then Young Boys still got the win in the end, 4-3. Granada beat Napoli 2-0. Granada, they did all right last year, but kicking on even more this year. But Napoli, not a good result for them. Ajax scored 2 late-ish goals to beat Lille 2-1. That was a big game because obviously league leaders in France against leaders in Netherlands. So 2 big away goals for Ajax as well. Other than that, Hoffenheim drew 3-3 with Molde, which is obviously Ole's old team. And then Villarreal beat Salzburg 2-0. So I think for us, obviously not Tigers during Champions League, but AC Milan.
The worst competition.
Yeah, I think AC Milan potentially being knocked out. Leverkusen, Napoli, even I know they're not as good as they were a few seasons ago, but obviously they still might be a threat. I think these teams could be good for us if they're not knocked out. I don't know. I know I said Arsenal will win, but I'm not confident for that fucking Benfica game. But yeah, obviously there'll be more European action next week, so we'll go into those little preview on Monday. Then we'll come review on Friday. Obviously, big game for Chelsea next week. So I think Wolves and Leeds are playing tonight. I don't think it started. Yeah, it'll be too early for it to start.
I think it starts at 8.
Yes. Big weekend for us against City. I think most had derbies this weekend as well. So keep an eye out for that. I was talking to a Liverpool fan yesterday, just remembering when we thought it was going to be like a Merseyside title race. That didn't last too long though, did it? So yeah. Good week of European action. I think Mbappe and Haaland took the stage away from Messi and Ronaldo as well. So exciting to see that. Until next week, have a nice.
Before I think it's time to talk.